Howdy everyone, welcome back to GA Fan TV. Galway 16 points, Tyrone 13 points. Galway booked themselves a first win of the All-Ireland group stages, and they win their opening game, beating Tyrone in the end by 3 points. A 14-man Tyrone, I suppose, is important to say. Obviously, Frank Byrne sent off in the first half. And look, in fairness to Tyrone, they showed some amount of fight and they showed some amount of battle. And, there's plenty of other teams going up away from home against one of the best teams in the country, in my opinion, in Galway, and to show the fight that they showed to actually make a game out of it, I thought was quite commendable. But considering they were down to 14 men, but fair play to Galway. Like, they managed the game really well. They, anytime it looked like Tyrone would slow to get, or get back into the game, score a couple of points. Like, Darren McCurry was very impressive. Dara Canavan had a good game as well. Galway just about managed to have enough to go down the other end and get a couple of points. I mean, Peter Cook, I thought was, he was very, very impressive. 2 points from him on the day. Damien Comer scores a big point, obviously, towards the end of the match. And Shane Walsh, really stood up today. And I think he needed to stand up because his performances so far this year in a Galway shirt haven't been at the standard that we know he can produce, but today he was very good. A couple of very good points from frees, kind of a half goal chance early on in the first half as well, where he was trying to loop Noel Morgan, ends up putting it over the bar. But he was very good. Peter Cook, very impressive, as I said, 2 points. Paul Conroy, Killy McDade, and a lot of different options for Galway. They're not reliant on just one player. They get players from all around the field, and Killy McDade chipping in, Peter Cook, Johnny Heaney. And it was a very measured performance from Galway. They just had the edge on Tyrone, and it was tough for Tyrone. Like, obviously, I think it's worth pointing out, very difficult conditions, very bad conditions. I think that's probably what made the game not very much of a spectacle. Like, it was quite cagey, with Tyrone going down to 14 men, and even 13 men when actually Noel Morgan got black-carded for a 10-minute period. You could argue, like, I felt like there was a time in the game, especially in the first half, where Galway should have put their foot on the collar and sort of went for Tyrone's throat, because towards the end of the first half, especially when they were down to 13 men, I thought they were there for the taking, and Galway didn't really capitalise on that. And you did get the feeling that maybe if Tyrone can sort of, sneak their way back into this, Galway might, struggle to get over the line. But in fairness to them, they've done very well. They just sort of, they used the chances and the opportunities that they got in the second half. Brilliant. And efficiency wise, they were outstanding. I can't imagine there were too many wides. And they done what was necessary, and they done what was needed. I think Tyrone will be disappointed. Look, the red card in the first half for Frank Burns. There can be absolutely no complaints. A very heavy challenge on Jack Lynn, who obviously then gets substituted. Very, very heavy challenge. No complaints about that red card whatsoever, in my opinion. And then obviously Noel Morgan's black card, like, it wasn't, he obviously kind of had a bit of a coming together with Damien Comer inside the square. Like, obviously it couldn't have been for that, the black card, because then it would have had to been a penalty, you'd imagine. So whether Noel Morgan, said something to the referee or something of that nature, I'm not entirely sure what happened. But obviously he gets black carded. And you just got the feeling from that moment that Tyrone were there for the taking, because, like, they didn't score between the 12th and 37th minute. So during that time period where they were down to 13 men, Tyrone didn't score at all. And you just got that sense that it was a chance for Galway to put the game to bed. Look, I know they won the game anyway, but there was an opportunity there for them to put the game to bed, and they didn't quite do so. But, like, the win has been more in line. Like, this is kind of what Galway have been doing all season. Like, they've just been grinding through wins, grinding through games. It was similar against Roscommon. They beat Sligo quite comfortably, but obviously Sligo are a Division 3 side, Division 4 side at best. So you'd look at it and say Galway had just very good at grinding their way through games. Physically, they're very strong. Like, around the middle, Paul Conroy was excellent. Killy McDade was very impressive. John Maher as well. Like, they have a lot of very good physical, tall players, and they're hard to break down. Like, again, it's another game defensively that, they haven't conceded a goal. There was very little opportunities for Tyrone in terms of goals. A few half chances towards the end, but yeah, it was just very well managed, and it was tough for Tyrone to really try and find the breakthrough or the chance, towards the end. And I think the problem with Tyrone is the same problem I've said all season. Like, aside from Darren McCurry, like, I don't know if they're getting enough from the rest of their forwards. Like, 7 points for Darren McCurry, very impressive performance from him. But you're looking at it and thinking, like, Matty Donnelly with a point, Derek Hanavan had a good game. Like, he's not the type of player to score 7-8 points in a game. Like, he scored 2, but he was setting things up around them. There just wasn't enough really from some of the rest of Tyrone's players. Like, Kieran McGeary came on, didn't really offer much. They brought a few under 20 lads on as well, I think, towards the end of the game. But there was just, attacking wise, it's just not quite. They don't seem to have the same firepower as what they had a couple of years ago. For example, like Noel Sludden, unused substitute. No Cathal McShane in the squad. Rory Canavan wasn't used. And then, you think to Conor McKenna leaving last year as well. They just don't seem to have the same firepower as what they had a couple of years back. But fair play to Galway, managed their way through the game. Peter Cook, I thought, was brilliant. He would have been my man of the match personally, but Paul Conroy was equally very impressive. John Daly was good as well. And yeah, it's a tough game to speak about because there really wasn't like a huge amount to talk about. It was a very sort of stop-start game, a lot of fouls. And Galway, their decision making in the final moments was key, and that was ultimately what got them over the line. And I think, one thing you would say about this Galway side is that a few years ago, and even last year to a certain extent, against Armagh in the quarterfinals, few other games as well, you would look at Galway and you would say, do they have what it takes to close out matches? They're a little bit flashy at times, but not really good defensively. This year, it's complete roles reverse. They're very strong defensively, very hard to break down. Sean Kelly, these lads, like, very, very good. Conor Gleeson in between the sticks, outstanding with his kickouts. And it was solid from Galway from start to finish, and they managed to get themselves the victory. Ace says Shane Walsh overrated. In my opinion, it's a controversial opinion. I wouldn't say he's overrated. I think he's just, like any good player or any great player. Like, you have you have dips in form. It happens with all the best players. It happens with Dublin players, Kerry players. Plenty of great players where you have dips in form. You can't always be at your best every week. And I think Shane Walsh was a lot better today than I think he was, in other games. And I think he needed to be at his best today. And was he at his best? Probably not, but he was a lot better than what he was. And at the same time, Matthew Tierney obviously gets himself a score, like quite-ish performance. But again, Galway's trump players coming up in trump moments. And you had that as well with Damien Comer obviously getting on the score sheet. So, big result there from a Galway perspective. And look, obviously, I think we'd say Galway are through now, obviously, to the next round. I think Galway and Tyrone will have enough to finish in first and second. I think Armagh will definitely be in the conversation, and Armagh will probably, fancy their chances at beating Tyrone now next weekend, or not next weekend, in a few weeks' time. So look, for Tyrone, like, it wasn't the word. Like, they fought hard. They showed a lot of battle. If they can show a lot of that battle against Armagh, I think they'll be okay, and they should have enough. And look, they'll beat Westmeath, contrary to what David Brady believes. I think, yeah. So, getting into the top two will be crucial for Tyrone, because if you finish third, you could, we see Kerry got beat earlier today. You could end up playing Kerry possibly in a preliminary round game, which you don't want. You definitely don't want that from a Tyrone perspective. So yeah. I'm an Armagh fan with the match in a neutral venue. It could be close. Is that not game fixed for Omagh, or did I hear something different? But either way, whether it's in Omagh or in a neutral venue, it'll be a close game. Like, if it's not in Omagh, if it's not Tyrone's home game, it'll probably be in Breffni Park maybe, or something like that. You'd imagine that'd be a handy venue, neutral venue for both sides. So yeah, I think look, Armagh will fancy their chances as well. In fairness, like, that will be a very tough, close game, as it usually is between Armagh and Tyrone. But Yeah, like it's not the end of the world for Tyrone. Like they'll still get out of this group. And considering they were down to 14 men, they showed a lot of battle and promise in the second half. But Galway just edged it and maneuvered their way through the game very, very well, in my opinion. But yeah, let me know your opinions. Who was your man of the match? For me, I think Peter Cook ever so slightly edged it. Think Paul Conroy was very good as well. And Darren Curry had a great game for Tyrone. But yeah, let me know your opinion. Let me know your opinions in the comments down below. My name is Aaron. Like, subscribe, and chat to you all soon.